Hey, I'm Cullen Bunn, the writer of Harrow County.
And I'm Tyler Crook, the artist of Harrow County. And you're on Splash Page.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, stop it!
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you as always. And with us, we have Carrie. How's it going?
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is going great. I am so excited about this show. Oh, my God. Drew told me about it. And yes, I squeed. I got super excited when we found out that we have these guests. I'm going to give you just a couple hints, but Drew will let you in case you can't read. We have somebody who I see perched upon a golden throne sometimes when he does these things, who has a matching Cthulhu to my Cthulhu, who is a master of horror. And we also have another man who does some beautiful watercolor drawings, also has the deep, dark Southern Gothic feel to him, as well as a mat and some chickens and some other critters. But who shall they be? We shall find out after we speak to Jar Jar.
You sure you don't want to do the intro, Carrie? Seriously. Hey, everybody. Welcome, comic book lovers. It's going to be a wonderful night. As Carrie has alluded to, we have guests. So on to you, Drew.
And thank you, Jar. Much appreciated, buddy. Loving the thing. And yes, hello, welcome. It's Splash Pages. Everybody, we have some great guests, okay? Some would say they come from a far-off place like called Harrow County. Some would say we saw them at a midnight show, maybe a Manor of Black. Sometimes it may have felt like hell on earth. But you know what? We're really excited to have them here as they insisted that they do this interview together, not separately, which is fine. It's great. Wonderful. We're really glad to have them here. Everybody, with much further ado and with the excitement of everybody here, not just one person, Carrie, everybody, the great Mr. Cullen Bunn and Mr. Tyler Crook.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. All right.
You guys, I had the time zones wrong. I usually get fancied up for these interviews, but I forgot the time zone, and Tyler texted me and said, "Where are you?" So you get me in my PJs. So.
Fantastic.
That's fine.
I'm not allowed to stand up.
Yeah, no, he is not. I had no. I mean, Jar, I've seen. No, I've seen too many Muppets for that.
Hold on, just on that note, we did have a interview. It was a horror actress, and I'm not going to say the movie she was from, but she was from a very, very large movie, and we're doing the test for the audio and video before the show, and she goes, "Oh, you want to see something?" And she went to stand up and then stopped herself. She was bottomless. She was Donald Duck in it.
Wow,
Donald Duck in it. I like.
Wow, that is okay. Wow, that
I got to use.
You know what?
It has happened before.
Oh, we're on the show. The
show.
show has actually started. This isn't the before banter.
Well, both of you, thank you so much for coming on, guys. We really appreciate it. Needless to say, we've done so much research prior to having you guys on. But I also want to say, again, Harrow County. Carrie, above me, was the one who told me about it, and I read everything. And the only thing I want to know is more is happening, right? We're going to get more. It's not over, right? No one died yet. So I'm just saying, like, that's the right.
Well, and even if they did.
So,
right.
You know, it's interesting because just today I started. There's so many weird things that go into these comics actually making it out in front of everyone. There is definitely more Tales of Harrow County. That's the follow-up to Harrow County.
Yes.
In my mind. Just today, I sat down and kind of started brainstorming my plan to make sure that happens. So I'm going to say a definitive yes, that there is more to come. There's a bigger story that is out there. It's just getting it done.
Nice.
Now, Tyler's going to say no. There will never be any more if he has any.
Oh, take the dreams.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, just schedules are crazy. Publishing is crazy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
You're both working on a lot.
Way to throw Tyler under the bus.
Together. He was so determined that we were together because he knew if we were apart, I would definitely throw him under the bus.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like, and it was funny because, you know, like I said, we had a little extra time to prepare, and you comb through the interviews that you guys have done because you don't want to ask the same questions as everybody else did, and then it's when it comes to the moment, you're like, oh crap.
You're like, dude, I got tons of questions ready.
Oh, really, Jar? Take it away, Jar.
All right. Cullen, first of all, well, both of you guys, Harrow County was great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Draws you in like no other. I'm not a huge horror reader, so like for me, it was really interesting, and like I enjoyed it a lot. That's that. But Cullen, you were doing Sinestro and Magneto at the same time. Crazy stuff. How did you make sure to keep them so different?
It was just I don't usually have a hard time keeping different projects separate. The big thing with those two, especially because they were both big superhero villains, is just I just kept in my mind always what made them different, and I kept that top of mind. So for me, it was, and I used to be able to rattle this off, and I've gotten tired and old. But Sinestro, I always kept top of mind when I started working on one of those scripts. Sinestro thought what he was doing was right. And he was doing what he thought was right for the wrong reasons. And Magneto was really the opposite of that. He never thought what he was doing was right, but he was doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. And that's how I kept those two kind of similar but different.
Oh, were you fans of the characters beforehand?
I was a big fan of Magneto, and I was anything X-Men for years and years. And Sinestro, I was aware from Super Friends when I was a kid, and then I liked the Jeff Johns stuff he was doing, like with the Sinestro War and stuff like that. Much bigger fan of going into it. Much bigger fan of Magneto. Probably they're even now in my mind.
Okay.
I'll let you guys jump in if you want to, or I can keep going.
Well, I actually did have one question. It's for Tyler. Is that, I mean, we read on top of Harrow County, we also read some of the stuff that you sent us, your own project. I believe the Lonesome Hunters, right? That's okay. Cool. I'm always terrified of getting the name wrong. Like, well, with the style and whatnot. I mean, it takes place a little, kind of modern day-ish. Would you consider that, like, would that book be kind of like Harrow County adjacent, as in some way? Because I kind of felt some of the certain elements and whatnot. I was like, if there was some sort of crossover or something, or it's like a sister to that world, would that? Did you? I don't know. I was like, if that happened, I wouldn't be mad with it.
I don't think that they could cross over very easily story-wise, but I think tonally they're very similar, and that's probably it's probably not much of a. And it's probably not a stretch to say that I learned everything about writing from working with guys like Cullen. So and especially Harrow County was such a long project for me that I definitely took a lot of lessons from that about just seeing how, Cullen puts together a story and paces things out and tries to build characters and stuff. And, but I wasn't trying to do a Cullen riff, I was definitely trying to do my own thing, but I don't know. I think Cullen and I like a lot of the same sorts of stories too, like really character driven stuff and stuff that has a lot of heart to it, but is scary in a fun way.
Yeah.
You're both very good at doing that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Karen.
No, tell us what we're good at, please.
Oh, no, you're both very good at that Southern Gothic feel. It's really, you get this deep rooted Americana kind of thing that's very dark as well. And I just love that. And what you did in The Lonesome Hunters, having this 126-year-old man and this young girl that end up thrown together, and he doesn't just they're talking anime and stuff, and he's really actually interested in her life, and she's interested and bonding with him. I loved how you had this whole other story going on with magic and the bad guys coming in this crazy church and all of these things going on, and yet there's still this whole bonding thing going on as well between these two people. And I love that, all the different things that you put together into that story. I wanted to praise you for it. So
well, I think I feel like the monsters in a lot of the stories that I work on, at least from my point of view, are sort of like just tools to get us to the characters to do stuff. You know what I mean? If I could do like if you could do a straight drama story that was quite as fun, or at least I don't know. I feel like the monsters add a ton of fun to a story for a lot of people. But the part that I'm really the most interested in is almost always the human character stuff.
So, no, go for it, Carrie.
Oh, sorry. And you use like the magpies and the rhymes, and then you're going into the wolves with the second part of it. And that's something else that I like both of you for doing, is you pull in all these older, or maybe not, well, they're older, but they're smaller little things. Like the magpies aren't, it's not a vampire, it's not a werewolf, but it's an old thing. And, you always you wave to the magpie or salute the magpie. Hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife doing? So that you don't have the sorrow come down on you and stuff. And you both recognize those elements of things. Your comics both make me so excited, because you're all into the stuff that I'm into that not a lot of other people write about. And I love that.
Well, I think Cullen has a very good handle on folklore stuff, way better than I do. You're sort of obsessed with that stuff, aren't you, Cullen?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but also with Harrow County, a lot of that stuff we just made up. It's like we wanted it to feel like folklore, and one of the things I really love is we'll have people come up sometimes at signings and say, "Oh yeah, we used to have that story when I was when we were growing up, we had that story." I'm like, no, you didn't. You did. We made that up. We made it up for, or maybe they did, and maybe we just pulled it out of the ether. So I always, I grew up hearing all these stories from my uncles and cousins and my parents. I mean, if I see a blue jay on Friday, I get nervous because my mom taught me that you never see a blue jay on Friday. And that's because that's the day they go to hell to get their orders from the devil. And if you see a blue jay on Friday, that means the devil's here on earth at work. So you gotta be extra careful. And I love that kind of stuff. And I like just throwing those little asides into stories. And then, I like making up stories that feel like that too.
So when you first started this, Cullen, and before you brought Tyler into it, Tyler, you weren't, from what I remember reading, you weren't really into horror. Is that correct? And Cullen sort of like brought you into it?
No, I had gotten into horror before I met Cullen, but I definitely was later to getting into horror than Cullen was. Like, I did not, like, I don't know, didn't you tell the story, Cullen, of going to see like Terminator when you were like 9 or something?
I'm certain I saw Jaws when I was 4 or 5, and it's one of my most vivid memories of going to a movie. So yeah, I was really interested in horror movies and horror stuff very early on.
Mm-hmm. The horror stuff that like really got me going was when I was a teenager and started watching Twin Peaks, and got into sort of the David Lynch vibe of horror. And at the same time too, I was listening to a lot of bands like Misfits, and Bauhaus and GBH and stuff, and guys that were doing like the horror punk stuff.
Right.
So that was like that was sort of how I like really started to approach it. And then of course, doing getting into Hellboy and B.P.R.D. and stuff was big for me.
Yeah,
I was waiting for Drew to take us there.
Well, I was going to say is kind of piggybacking on some of what you, Cullen, you were saying. It's kind of reminded me of what I remember Mike Mignola kind of saying that he would, for his stories, he would take little pieces from different folklores and kind of amalgamate them into their own myths. So, like, again, it's familiar, but it's its own unique thing. And that's kind of how I felt when I was reading Harrow County. It was like coming to reread fairy tales I kind of remembered when I was a kid, but then looking at them as an adult and then thinking, that's not how I remembered it. And now I'm a little more scared. And again, I want to make sure I have this right, because again, it's one thing to read it, it's another thing to say it. It's Haints.
Haints, you got it.
First try. Yeah. No, because like I said, when you guys also had the accents really down, because sometimes I notice with certain characters, people will really either go overboard on the accent or they'll just a little too subtle. But reading it, I was like, I think I got I could hear the characters in my head with the accents, and I was like, it makes it all worth it, because I was like, no, you have to have that you have to hear it as it is, and you guys just did very vivid. Like, I was like, please tell me this is going to be a show one day, because shut up and take my money. Like, goddamn. So
are we shopping it as a show?
Oh
yeah, it feels like we've gotten kind of close a couple times.
Really?
Yeah,
it always does its Hollywood thing.
Yeah, there's been a couple of pilot scripts written, very different takes on the story, including I wrote one, and I think they got close. I think they've gotten close, but as Tyler says, it all it's, if you think it's tough to get a comic book made,
Well, even if they did like an anthology, even if they did like an anthology show where it was just like, as you said, Tales from Harrow County, like where it doesn't even have to all connect, it can just be all in this area, it would be fucking fantastic. I could see like people just eating it up.
Well,
like
fingers
we
crossed.
need another Supernatural.
Fingers crossed. We're still, we're never not trying. So we're always trying. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So when you do get a show, where would you like to see it end up? Each company, it has had its own, ups and downs with bringing comic book shows or comic books to life. I think, like Netflix has been doing a great job with like Umbrella Academy and whatnot. HBO did a phenomenal job with Watchmen. Where would you like to see Harrow County end up?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I try not to think about it too much because that way lies madness. But I think some sort of cable networks, not necessarily like big network, but somewhere that may be a little edgier, maybe a little take some risks. But it seems like that's everywhere now. There's everybody takes risks now.
So I actually had a question that will also put one of our characters, someone on a team, on the spot. So you guys really love snakes in Harrow County, and the symbolism has been fantastic. I mean, like, and I don't know if it's just how you guys did it, how Tyler drew them, like just watching, I think they were like copperheads or something, just watching them move and bite people and everything. I was like, oh God, I got to take a shower. God damn it. Like I freaked out. And fun fact, one of our members, Mr. Pond, has quite a lot of experience, and he's kind of our snake expert, as apparently his childhood, I think he might have grown up in a town like Harrow County because he deals with a lot of snakes. So, Leo, do you want to take, I set you up, big guy.
Yeah. Well, just a couple quick stories. Speaking of copperheads, we my dad found a den of copperheads, and grew up on a family farm. And my mother keeps on telling the story with him pouring gas into the snake pit, waiting a little bit, then lighting it on fire and seeing copperheads coming out on fire. I moved back into the farmhouse after a life event. My mom had moved out. My dad had passed, and found the house had been infested with snakes. So I was killing about a dozen snakes a summer that were in the house.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that I like snakes. they were always just around when I was growing up.
Right.
And at some point in the creation of Harrow County, again, another thing my mom used to say was, whenever you see a dragonfly, that's a snake doctor, and that means there's a snake somewhere. And that entered the story. And then, of course, if we're going to have dragonflies, well, if we're snake doctors, we got to have snakes in there in a big way.
Yeah, I grew up in sort of the Southwest in the desert, and so like the scary snakes that we had were rattlesnakes.
Oh wow!
And those guys are so much more polite than like cottonmouths, or because they give you a little. They tell you when you're in danger.
You get a warning.
Just like biting you to tell you you're in danger. So I don't think I quite have the phobia, but I was like what the whole time I was drawing those snakes. Mostly I was just trying to make my wife like freak out because they grew up in North Carolina and in Texas around cottonmouths and not care for them.
Yeah, those were the mean snakes that we had where I grew up, were the cottonmouths.
Well, I need to say swim. Well, I need to say thank you for not having like too many spiders, because that's my thing. So if you had some, I was like, oh no, nope, can't read this issue. Carrie, tell me what it was about. Can't do it. Nope. Like,
we should have done more spiders. Actually,
It's shocking to me that we didn't do spiders because it's such a.
Oh God! Why did I have to say something?
But I had just done another comic that had a ton of spiders, but it just always when I first moved to Missouri, you're gonna love this, Drew. When I first moved to Missouri, we lived down this long dirt road that went a couple of miles off into the woods, and I remember driving down the road one day, and I was like, "What is all over the road?" And there were just blankets of tarantulas, thousands of them crawling across the road because Texas brown tarantulas migrate through that area every year. And you couldn't get through without just caking your tires in spiders.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I
Where
just
is this?
read Crooked Hills last night, and that was real.
Yeah,
that actually happens.
That was all very, very true. That was,
I thought that was Marty fucking with him. Oh my God.
It's the spiders in the Ozarks, the tarantulas are no joke.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where is this again? I just need to mentally put a big thumbtack down on a note.
Like right on the edge of Missouri and Arkansas. You can get all the tarantulas you want.
Cool. Guys, we are never going to a convention in this area. If we even, I don't care who's there. No. Hell no.
Are those like desert tarantulas? Because desert tarantulas are very sweet, like won't bite or.
Don't care.
Mean, but they were, they were big spiders.
Yeah.
We also had scorpions by the.
No, I'm scorpions.
Yeah, scorpions freak me out. I'm not. I'm not a fan of those guys.
No, listen. Once you've seen giant scorpions in Clash of the Titans, I'm good. I was like, nope. Roger Corman made this. I cannot take you seriously. Just kill the thing. But no, thank you. So, can someone else ask a different question? Because I'm starting to get skin crawlies.
Well, in my research, I learned something. Oh, actually, no. Carrie had a question. Sorry, go ahead, Carrie. I saw it in the chat.
Yeah, I have many, but Cullen, I know that Harrow County and Cold Spots both started off as prose forms for you, and then you turned them into comics. And having just said that I read Crooked Hills last night, Crooked Hills #1, which makes me excited for there being more hopefully to come. Are you going to work on turning that into a comic as well? Or do you have plans for it? Or do you think
I don't have any plans to turn Crooked Hills into a comic. I think my days of crossing those streams are probably over. I think, I'm writing a novel right now that I think could make a pretty good comic, but I'm like, this is going to be a novel. With Crooked Hills or with Harrow County, it died on the vine as a prose project. I just didn't continue it. So it wouldn't exist at all if it wasn't for the comic. So I think I'm gonna try to keep those two things separate. Now that doesn't mean I might start something as prose and not like it as prose, and maybe I'll want to shift gears. Sometimes that shifting of gears is what I need to keep the story going.
Okay, and it does great as a novel. I loved it. I'm excited. It's hard to find your stuff though as a novel. I look up Cullen Bunn on Amazon and books. Oh, which of these 200 would you like?
And I've done mostly comics. There's I've stuck in. I've been a part of comics for so long, and I've written so many comics that prose stuff does kind of get lost in the shuffle. But my hope is there will be more. You'll definitely be seeing more prose stuff in the future.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to never having to work with an artist again.
Guys, I think that's our cue. We might need to go.
Yeah.
I think we've started something. I actually had a kind of a question for both of you. Because speaking of crossing the streams, there was something that I like my pop culture brain is. I think it was when Bernice they were dealing with the kid who they could only see the spirit that they could only see through. I think the keyhole. Yeah, and then she ends up trapping him in the lock, and and I have to say this because this is where my brain goes, because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. Like you, Cullen, you talked about seeing Jaws when you were 4. That was my movie. And you talked about getting terrified of the shark. Me, it was the terror dog popping out of the kitchen. I was like, I thought it was a closet for the longest time, and I was terrified for a week. I was like, Dad, you got to leave the light on, because if you don't, that thing's going to come out, and I don't want what happened to Sigourney Weaver. Like, no way. But when she trapped the thing, I was like, oh my God, is Bernice a Ghostbuster? And I was like, no. They called them witches. Okay. But I thought that was like the coolest thing. And in my head, I was like, that's a little Hellboyish too, kind of, using some magic to trap an evil spirit in something. I was like, that's pretty dope, man. So
I don't remember thinking of Ghostbusters when we were doing that scene. I do remember in I guess it's Tales from Harrow County, Bernice is trapping goblins in gourds or something, and I was like, I didn't think of Ghostbusters then either. I thought of Pokemon. I was like, oh, this is like Pokemon.
It's all good. It's all good, but that was just great, because I was like, that's a mean little kid right there. And I remember Emmy's like, no, we can. And everybody's like, nope, got this. All right, so you were saying, right? Yeah, but yeah, so it's great. So that's my question. I'm good. Next.
All right. You guys are both real comic nerds, right? You both still read comics and everything? Yes. All right. Cullen, I know that you have a treasury collection that you're planning to get hardbound.
Yes.
Did you ever get it hardbound? Because I'm a treasury collector too.
I haven't yet. I have all the treasury editions that all the publishers publish, all those giant books. And my plan, I started getting my old comics bound into hardcover a while back. It just is more fun for me. It makes me actually want to read them instead of just having them sit in a box. So I've been getting comics bound for a while. I stopped for various reasons for a little bit, but I've still got boxes of books that are marked to be bound. And the trades or the treasury collections are all in there. The problem with the treasury collections is they're going to be expensive to bind, because they have to have giant piece. They have to basically custom cut these, the cardboard and everything. So they're going to be a little pricey to bind. But eventually I'll do it. Right now they're stacked in a closet somewhere.
When I heard you collected treasuries, I was just like, oh my God, there's somebody like me out there. I think the treasuries are like the coolest of the books that I own. Like, they're hanging up on some of them are hanging from the ceiling, but the artwork and stuff they're just so beautiful.
Yeah, I just have fond memories of them from when I was a kid. I remember, when I got a treasury edition, it felt like I was getting something special. But I also just like odd-shaped comics. Like, I love the digest size collections that DC and mainly DC, but I guess Marvel puts some out too. But I love those too.
I like the little Untold Legends.
Yeah, that kind of
Batman.
stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you like
the German editions of Hellboy, I get comps of those occasionally, and they're like this thick, but they're itty bitty. They're almost like half page size.
Oh wow, I love it.
They're really cool.
That does sound cool.
They remind me of those Big Little books.
I was gonna say that's what you were describing sounds like a Big Little book. Which also, I just have a thing for books that are either really big or really small.
Are you guys reading anything currently?
Yeah, I'm reading. I've been reading a lot of manga lately. I've been reading Witch Hat Atelier lately, which I've really been enjoying. It's really cool. It's one of those books that usually I don't like. I don't like fantasy stuff where like there's a magic system that is very well defined, and like I like the magic to be a little loosey goosey. But Witch Hat Atelier for some reason hits a real sweet spot for me with their very specific magic stuff that they have to do. I think it's because they have to. In that book, they their magic is drawing. They have to draw these special symbols and stuff. So there's a lot of good. It's not even a stretch of a metaphor for it to be about like being an artist or being a drawer.
Okay.
I've been reading a lot. I've been reading a lot more prose probably lately than comics. Although I did read. I think they're all out now. I'm sure they are. Dennis Hopeless did a book called She's Running on Fumes that is just amazing. I think it's one of the best crime comics I've ever read, and it's full of heart, and it's kind of biographical about his own mother. It came out with Comixology, so it'll get collected as a trade. But yeah, it was just so good. And for me to say anything nice about Dennis Hopeless is a big thing because he's my mortal enemy. But it's such a beautiful book. I mean, it's just really great. It's like, and it's set in, it's set in Missouri, in the town of Deepwater, which what a great name for a town. It's a real town. It's just a fun. It's just such a. There's just so much heart in that book.
Mm-hmm. So,
Drew, I know you had a question. I just want to say real quick, Cullen, if you're into hardcovers, if you have a Ollie's close to you, they have a Watchmen collection where they hardcovered each issue. It's like $27.
Oh wow! So, well, I don't have an Ollie's near me. I think the nearest Ollie's is probably 1,000 miles away from here. But
it's worth the trip.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Yeah, I've been hitting them up lately. They have a lot of trade paperbacks for like $3. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Drew, you had a question?
Oh yeah. So Cullen, one of the books that we read on one of our rare free days was we read your book Midnight Show. Which we all of us absolutely loved. And me, I mean, again, 4 issues, it just blew me away. And I'm reading it and I was like, this kind of has like that the Monster Squad kind of feel to it, that nice Hammer movies, all these things. But I think the thing that I really enjoyed was like how realistic it was. Like some of those deaths came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, holy crap! What did that Wolfman do? God damn! Like even the ending.
Many beheadings in that book, and it wasn't intentional, but there are a lot of beheadings. And yeah, you're right. It's a Monster Squad. Brian Hurt and I just love those kind of, we love the Hammer movies. We love movies like Monster Squad. The book where Midnight Show wears its inspiration right on its sleeve. We're not apologetic. It's our Monster Squad. It's our Waxworks. It's just, we wanted to do something that was fun and popcorny and also kind of violent and bloody. And apparently we like to write about beheadings. What's fun about that is, we only had 4 issues to tell that story.
Right.
But Brian and I have like a list of every movie that Midnight Studios made. So we have a chronology of the movies and what happens in each of the movies, because we really just got into kind of building this world.
Oh yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it was awesome. Like literally I was like, if this was a movie, I would not only watch the crap out of it, I would hype the hell out of it. I would cosplay from it. Like, damn.
Just
like it was
trade, I think. So
yeah.
So read the comics, get the trade.
Yeah. And then of course the ending was, I was like, oh boy. I was like that nice, the horror. Like we won, but did we really? That nice horror movie ending. I was like, oh, this is like, I was like, man, why can't Popcorn Summers be more like this? Like, give me this. Leave me this instead of. I was like, how is Saw still happening? Like, why? Just he's dead. Stay dead.
19.
Yeah, exactly. We brought him back for the final one. Yeah. So I got Carrie. I know you have another question.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys this before the show, and then I didn't get a chance to, because I wanted to make sure I was doing my research. But like I said, I was also reading everything, because that's what I do. And so, yeah, so my brain is kind of oozing right now after last night and the day. But I'm pretty sure I read that one of you, we do a thing here, Variant Watch, because there's so many freaking variant covers out there these days. We love seeing the variant covers, but it's kind of like you wish you could just get a collection of just the covers. Just do that, because damn. But I'm pretty sure that I read that it was one of you was talking about doing kind of a reversal of that, where you get the same cover, but the books inside are different. Was that, Cullen? Was that serious, or was that?
I have wanted to do a variant interior for so long.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, and you know, we kind of got close. I did a book called Cullen Bunn's Body Bags, which had variant stories in it, and the publisher was going to black bag it so you wouldn't even know which one you got until you ripped it open. I don't think that'll ever come out. I mean, it would have been cool. I wrote a cool script for it. I just don't see it happening. So I got to try again. I got to try to figure out how to make this how to make a variant interior.
Maybe you do something like Clue, where every time you saw it at the theater, it was a different ending. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the idea. I don't know how you make it work and not irritate retailers, irritate readers. And I'm good at irritating people. It's my superpower. But eventually it'll happen. I may have to just draw it myself.
Oh boy.
And that would be a nightmare in and of itself. I should have mentioned this. Just last week, I bought a comic by my friend Aaron Conaway. It's called Jan the Vagabond. And Aaron's a writer, but he decided to write, draw, letter, everything himself on this comic. Mm-hmm. And there's just something about it that I was like, why haven't I been doing this? Because it looks like he's just having so much fun telling this story. And I used to do it when I was a kid, so maybe I'll revisit some of my IP from when I was a kid.
Go back to the yesteryear.
Was that at Tremendicon you went?
It was at Tremendicon. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Looks like you also got some D&D glasses, and that satchel looks awesome.
I spent so much money.
We always do.
Were you there, Leo?
No, I
just knocking him.
He did the research, man.
I know, but wow.
Cullen has an awesome newsletter, Nightmare Fuel. You got to check it out.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
So I had a question for Tyler. I'm a huge Hellboy fan, and I know you did some really good Hellboy work. Like, just what is it like kind of playing in that playground? There's been so many different creators there. You're working with Mike Mignola and all of his collaborators, just contributing to that. Like I would love to I would just sit and just listen to stories of working in the. I mean, he hates being called the Mignola-verse. I know he's not a fan of that, but that term. But what was that like, man? That must have been awesome.
That was hard. I mean, that was my first ongoing gig. Like doing B.P.R.D. Hell on Earth was like what allowed me to quit making video games and move into comics full time. Mm-hmm. And it was very demanding. And if I'm being honest, I don't think I was ready for that job when I got it. Like I really struggled through it a lot. Yeah, like I remember when I was doing that, I was like, because they hired me on, and when they first I started on that book. They were like, you're going to be the B.P.R.D. artist. You're going to replace Guy Davis, and you're just going to do all the B.P.R.Ds. And then a few maybe 6 months into that, they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to bring in some other artists, and they brought in James Herron, and I was just like, they're gonna fire me. Like I can't compete with this guy. Jesus Christ. This is because he was his stuff was even really rough when he started on B.P.R.D. compared to what he does now. But out the gate, that guy was just on fire. So it was very stressful, and it was very challenging. Talking to John Arcudi about it, he's told me that he didn't feel like he knew how to write for me until the very last story I did for B.P.R.D., which was a one shot called The Grind. Mm-hmm. That was about a barista, trying to get to work and make his way through his regular day, but there's giant Audru Hem like propped over the town where he's living in, and there's military occupation going on, and like that was the first time I actually felt like I did a good job on a book, and that was also the last one I did on B.P.R.D.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
The books I did are great. Everyone should buy them anyway. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was bringing up a sore subject. I'm just, get
It's
work.
not a sore subject. It's just like, it definitely feels like as soon as I got on Harrow County was when I feel like I sort of came into my own as a cartoonist.
Oh yeah, great stuff. Someone else, please.
You guys have an omnibus of Harrow County coming out this October, just in time, everybody, for my birthday on Halloween. If you want to, get it all together, I'll put it on a wish list on Amazon or something, and you can all just kind of throw in some cash for it. It'd be a great thing.
You must be having technical difficulties. I can't hear Carrie at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You presents? Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
But but
I was
there's a couple different versions, right?
So the book's been released in a couple of different formats, but yeah, the new one that comes out in October is going to be just a big fat. You can read everything Harrow County or the entire original series in one big volume.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's everything except for the Tales from Harrow County. It's like it's got all the backup stories. It's got all of the back essays. It's got all of the intros that Chris Schweitzer put together for the library editions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a slipcase, and it is all inspired by the cover from Harrow County #1, which has the skin in the dresser drawer, and the slipcase functions like a drawer where you have to pull the book out like it's a drawer, and you can see the skin folded up in there.
That is freaking dope.
I'm very excited about it. I think it's turned out really beautiful.
It's a really cool volume. I think
it's
great.
Amazing.
I think if people haven't read the book, it's a great way to read it. I think if people have read the book, it's such a pretty edition. I think you're going to want it anyway, just to have it on the shelf.
Oh, totally.
It's going to go really good with the satchel edition of the board.
It really will. Yeah.
Wait, what?
You hear that, Carrie?
So there's that's something you may not know. Do you have idea? Mine's out in the other room. Tyler designed. So there's a Harrow County board game.
Yeah, I saw this. This is so cool.
And Tyler designed this case that you can put the game in that looks like Emmy's satchel.
Whoa! What the? Holy crap! That is so freaking cool.
Oh, see, we should have got that and played.
Yeah, we should have. It's a cool game.
My God, Carrie, that's what you get for your birthday.
Yeah, off the page games. It's available now anywhere you get your board games. Maybe not the edition Tyler just showed you. I think that was a Kickstarter exclusive.
Oh
man, that is freaking dope. Have you guys? I mean, it went on for a while. Did you guys ever meet any Harrow County like cosplayers? Did people ever dress up?
I don't think you know what? I've seen only recently though. Somebody, I think from Brazil, posted some Hester Beck cosplay on Instagram.
Oh wow!
That I saw.
Yeah, I always expected someone to come running up in like a Slim Goodbody bodysuit that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Harrow County cosplay.
I don't think I've heard a Slim Goodbody
not in person anyway
reference in like 20 years.
Oh God!
I don't know how. I mean, Slim Goodbody's top of mind all the time.
Wow.
Dear God. Okay.
So Tyler, doing the watercolor, doing pages, does that take longer? What's the process there? Like that's got to be nerve-wracking to me. Like I'm always
forever.
Takes forever.
It is really well, when I was doing Harrow County, I was a lot faster even than I am today. I feel like I've gotten slower and slower as time goes on. But Yeah, it takes a long time. It is really. I just did a short story for Oni Press is doing those new EC comics.
Yeah.
And I did a 6-page story for that where someone else colored it, and it felt like instantaneous to be able to like just ink a page and turn it in and it would be done and be like, now it's someone else's problem. But you know, with Harrow County, I was lettering too, so it was like I was doing so much of the production stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense actually. For 3.5 years doing that, and we were on basically a 6-week schedule on that. So I was doing 22 pages every 6 weeks.
Wow.
When you took the time off for issue, I think it was 9, you still did the lettering on that issue. So
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like
and you did the tales for Harrow County on that issue, right?
I don't remember if it was that specific issue, but I did a couple of those. Yeah.
I really like the lettering that you do with the sound effects kind of stuff when it looks like you move into like oils on some of those. I was like in was it in Man or Black, or some of the different things you've done, there's that bright red with like the hiss or the attack or whatever with the yellows streaking through it, and that really just pops and grabs you and sucks you into it. And in the Harrow County stuff when like Hester's crawling up and there's like the slurping noises made out of mud crawling up. Also, every edition of Harrow County, how you came up with a different way, like in the clouds or in the cornfields, to have the title going on the front page. I really enjoyed all of that. That was some pretty
really
creative stuff.
That was the title page title thing was something I swiped from early Swamp Things. I'm a huge fan of the Nestor Redondo run on Swamp Thing, and he always had like it said Swamp Thing in the in the Spanish moss or whatever in the swamp, and yeah, that stuff was really fun. There was one issue where we forgot to do it though, so if you find that one, you win a
nothing.
You get haunted, I guess, be haunted by. I've actually gotten like. I've gotten emails from people who are like, I've been trying to find it in this one issue and I just can't find where it says Harrow County.
And you said, keep
I've
looking.
had to be like, I had to let them off the hook and be like,
keep looking. It's in there somewhere.
Yep. The boat.
Yeah.
No. I was just gonna say the satchel edition of the game. If anybody's looking for it, you can find it on eBay. It goes for about 150 to 250.
Nope. Nope. That's no.
I forget what the retail is on the regular edition. It's like $35 or $40 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable for a board game.
Yeah, that's cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that I'm like, okay.
The company that put that together did a beautiful job on it. I think it turned out beautiful.
Oh yeah. Carrie, I know you have another question.
Oh, I have all the questions.
I know.
Keep rolling.
So, Cullen, in Cold Spots, at the end of it, you wrote a letter saying, this is not the end of Cold Spots. We have a shared universe that we are making multiple things out of, and this will continue. And have I missed some of that?
I'm a big dreamer. I really... when I say those things, I mean it. But
I believe you.
As Tyler said earlier, sometimes it's just scheduling and getting, making sure publishers are into it and that artists can work it in their schedule and actually make a living wage doing it. It can be a challenge sometimes. More Cold Spots I should get all my list of things I want to continue, and I should get those custom hardbound like my comics, and I can put them on my all my notes of the books I want to do and want to continue. I don't think very rarely do I sit down and do a limited series that I want to be just a limited series. I think publishing has moved into that, the 4 or 5 issue arc, and see how it goes. But I almost never, it's just, my brain doesn't usually work that way. My brain usually works on, okay, I can tell a story, but I want to tell more stories. And in some cases, I may intend for it to be a limited series, and then I fall in love with the characters and the world, and I just want to do more.
Okay. I wasn't trying to be, pardon me, I wasn't trying to be accusatory. I wanted to make sure I hadn't missed something from like I'm looking all over.
I forgot that I wrote that letter in in Cold Spots, but it was, I mean, that's always been my intention, was, you know, there was a bigger world and more to tell in that universe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Leo.
Actually, just real quick, my apologies, Tyler. Looks like you have a newsletter as well. I just subscribed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm sorry I missed that. And
I'm not very regular with it though. So I mean, that's either a plus or a minus depending on how people like their newsletters.
No worries.
I'm averaging about 1 a year right now.
Well, that's fine.
It's more than I'm doing.
Do you send that newsletter via Pony Express, Tyler? Is that
it feels like it, man. It feels like it takes horses to drag it out of me sometimes.
What are you using for a mail program?
Squarespace.
Okay, nice. And
so it's not hard. I mean, it's just sitting down to write one is hard for me.
Yeah, I was just curious about the my day job's in email, so it's always curious.
Yep.
And Cullen, I saw you just did a trivia on Godzilla. What did you think of -1?
I thought Godzilla -1 is not my favorite Godzilla movie. Nostalgia will not allow that, but I do think it is the best Godzilla movie.
Oh.
That's high praise.
No applause for that part.
I was a big fan of it.
Yes,
Did you watch it in black and white?
I have not watched the minus color version yet. Although
it is so good. I'm sorry, that's the one version I saw first, and I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah, I was a big fan, but as I said, nostalgia won't allow me to say it's my favorite. It's just
okay.
Nostalgia. What is your favorite?
I really I like different ones from every era of Godzilla.
That is the right answer.
I really like my favorite is always going to be down as Godzilla versus Gigan, because my dad took me to see it in the theater.
Nice.
As part of a double feature. So, and I don't remember the other movie, but I know Godzilla versus Gigan was in there, and it's not the best Godzilla movie by any stretch.
No.
I just really like it for that reason.
Fair enough.
And I agree. -1 is I absolutely love it.
It was so good. It was so.
I haven't seen the black and white one yet, though.
Well, Leo, wait. If only there was some way that you could get a copy of a legitimate quality. If only. If only.
If only.
Wink, wink. Actually, Cullen, I had a question for you, because Carrie mentioned that we brought up that we do a thing called Variant Watch, and one of them I know was that they were celebrating. They did a series of covers celebrating Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Yes. I guess it's some sort of milestone this year, like 20th, 10th, or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's because there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, there you go. So you did a lot of work with Deadpool, and I know because I've read a nice chunk of it. I think that was kind of during the Jerry Dugan era run, kind of. Yeah, and I've read that. I believe Night of Living Deadpools was also you as well. All these, and I'm a huge Deadpool fan myself. I actually cosplay as a Deadpool variant. So I'm not going to tell what it is because that would just.
You have to say.
All right, I do Deadpool. I do Winnie the Pooh crush with Deadpool, and it's hilarious. Thank you. Moving on. I've always felt that some people don't understand how to write Deadpool very well in terms of it's either too referencey or not enough. I feel like your Deadpool has that nice balance, which really works for him. How did you, like, when you were working on your projects, regardless of what they were, was there a goal? Was there like, okay, I'm going to do Deadpool like this or not this, or, you know, keep this in mind forever? Like,
no, it just depend. It would depend on the issue. When I started writing Deadpool, I was not a Deadpool fan. I had a certain interpretation of the character that irritated me. And so I didn't want to do that. You know, I wanted to do, so basically I took that and I said, okay, I'm going to dial it back, because when any character someone hires me to write, if they hired me, they want my version, and they may differ, but then they may differ in opinion, but they shouldn't have hired me if that's it. So I just wanted to, I dialed back from that. And there were, you know, it depended, like with Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, I really wanted to write something that was sort of dark and sad. I did a book called Deadpool Assassin, where I was like, I want to write a Deadpool that people who don't like Deadpool will like this book. So it would depend, but it was always, I had this sort of, this idea of, I didn't want to go as far as, you know, I didn't want to go sort of the Looney Tunes zany Deadpool, but I recognized that Deadpool needed to have some humor to him in most cases, even if it was really dark humor.
Okay, cool, man. It was great either way. So, you know,
have you guys seen that? I think it's a Heineken ad with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I don't think that was real though. But
I was just online complaining about that because it doesn't make any sense, and I don't know how anyone like.
Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds did that as a joke.
It might be, like, to fuck with people who like.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Be like, if the can was made out of adamantium, you couldn't open it.
You could if it's been scored or whatever.
It would have to be scored very thin, my friend.
Oh,
very thin.
So can he cut through his own bones?
Of course he can. He's a comic book character. You got to write it in a way that makes sense. Anything's possible.
There is a tool that has become very popular among comic book publishers in recent years that answers all of those questions. And it's called the multiverse, because in some multiverses, sure, that can happen. In others, no, it can't. It just all depends. And if you read a story that you really don't like, and you're, oh man, that makes no sense. It's okay.
Well, it's Earth 489.
Retcon.
I thought you were going to go with imagination. I was like, imagination. But you went with multiverse. I was like, that was cool.
It's multiverse is the current buzzword. I mean, it's still a buzzword, right? I'm a little over the multiverse, but
it is. That's the big word now. That's the convenient plot hole. How do we make this work? Multiverse. I'm in.
I'm all for any kind of magical mumbo jumbo that I don't have to worry about something anymore.
Yep. You know.
I don't know when you started worrying so much about comics. Come on. You ain't got anything better to worry about?
Nope. Our lives are meaningless and small, sir. We need this. We don't have anything.
Are either of you caught up on Batman?
No.
Which one?
Thank you, Leo.
Probably about 5 issues ago, they had Batman jumping through the multiverse, and he was like collecting a different item from each Batman. You know,
I was about to ask, is Grant Morrison still writing that?
No, not. Yeah,
wow.
Cullen, Cullen, you're carbon dating yourself, but you know, because I understand, because I've been there myself. I was like, what year is it? Who's writing Batman? That will help determine what year it is. I was like, oh, okay, good. I still care. But I did have one Harrow County question and I apologize, but like there were so many great moments in the series. Did you guys have a personal favorite? The one that like looking back on, you were like, yeah, this is my baby. That's my favorite. That's the one that you loved working on the most.
I don't know. I mean, they're all so good.
There's story. Okay. Yeah.
I know that Tyler, you can go first. You can say your favorite.
Yeah, that's rough. Like there's all sorts of like little moments that, that I'm still in love with. Like one of my absolute favorites is a scene when Emmy is doing the laundry and talking to the skinless boy, and she's hung the skinless boy's skin over the line, and he just sort of reaches up and holds his own hand while he's talking to her, and I've always loved that. And I love like there's a great scene with Emmy and Bernice singing that Tipperary song. I really like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch. It's a bunch of little stuff. I like the introduction of Levi a lot. I thought it was a fun introduction. I like Levi. There's a little interaction between the Abandon and Levi that I really liked, and I thought it really set up a lot of the stuff that was gonna come in just like a couple of lines. I thought really paid off. I think the most horrible stuff I wrote is when there's some stuff between Emmy and Cammy that I think is pure horror fuel, and I like those scenes, even though I thought they were. I think they're hard to. I think they're hard, and it makes me sad for Cammy because she suffers and is so scared in some of those scenes, and the way Tyler drew it, it just elevated it a lot, I think, and it makes it kind of heartbreaking and sad. And then I like when Emmy and Bernice. I hate it, but I also like the arc where Emmy and Bernice are at odds with each other.
The frog fight is pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What the hell, man?
Yeah. I also like the last issue. There's a lot of double page spreads at the very end, and those are really, really fun to do, because I felt like that was after 3.5 years of working on that book. I was like, I'm going to take everything I learned about drawing the woods and like go ham on this stuff, and that was pretty fun.
Okay, I had another question for you, Cullen, and I know that you've answered this in multiple interviews or that you've discussed it, but I want it on our show as well. So there was an experience that you had when you were in college with a haunting that I saw in one of the letters that you were answering.
Is this about the bed,
with an old lady?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just trying to get it set up for you. If you, what that's inspired from you and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time in my life when I was living in, I don't know. I mean, I'd had that bed for a little bit, I think, but I was living in this little apartment, and every night this old woman would appear at the foot of the bed and would just stand in the shadows, whispering, speaking in some language I couldn't understand. And sometimes would run up to the side of the bed in a freaky way. And it was really affecting me in my day-to-day life. And I worked with this guy at Walden Books at the time. Talk about carbon dating me. I worked with this guy at Walden Books who was a professional ghost hunter in his spare time. And I invited him over. I was like, man, I need to know what's going on. There's something in my house, in my apartment. And he came in and looked around the apartment. He just kind of looked around the bedroom and he said, "Don't sleep in that bed again, and you'll never see her again." And I never did either of those. I never got in that bed again, and I never saw that creepy old that creepy old hag. And that old woman, in a lot of ways, is...
Dude, I'm getting chills just from the story.
Is the inspiration for Hester. And I do occasionally have like recurring dreams about, and I'll probably have one tonight. Thanks so much to all of you.
Sorry.
I do have these like recurring dreams about this terrible old witch that haunts wherever I am. And maybe there's a little bit of Hester in a little bit of her in Hester as well. Because I've been having dreams about that creepy old hag forever. That creepy old Blair Witch, whatever she is.
If it helps at all, I've been having nightmares from your books, and I don't normally get nightmares. Well, I mean, like I get nightmares a lot, but not based in something.
Yeah.
So
I call that witch, and Tyler didn't like the name, so we changed it to Hester Beck. I call that witch for years. I've called her Maddie Someday, and she's always been. I think I remember that was going to be her name in Harrow County, but for some reason you didn't like Maddie or something.
Yeah, it sounds like something that I wouldn't like, but now today I'm like, that sounds pretty cool.
It's cool name. I can't have it. I'm going to use it in something else. So there'll be Hester Beck's cousin from
maybe that name is cursed, like just because you'll use it someday.
Yeah.
I just read it last night.
Yeah, Maddie Someday.
There you go.
I apologize. I know we are past time. I just wanted to ask one last question here. So Cullen, you have 2 short films, Watching and The Bleed, and you just released Watching on your YouTube. I had a chance to watch it right before the show. Absolutely loved it.
Well, thank you.
Weird and creepy.
Just released it.
Very, very creepy.
This evening, yeah. So like just before I came on here, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just there's a local film production company I met at a convention last year, and we started talking about doing some short films together. I like short films. I really watching. You know, our budget on that film was 0. That's how much we spent to make Watching. So, and then next week I'll release The Bleed, which is the other one we did. I'll release that online too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's a fun format to, mess around with.
Nice.
And Watching,
really
good. Watching's basically an apocalyptic. It's a super apocalyptic movie that we did with no budget.
I feel it's rather real too, though, because it's pretty much what everybody's doing. We all see the problems going on, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody in power who has any ability to do anything about it is doing a goddamn thing. Yeah.
Well,
Weird
also, it leaves a ton to the imagination. So, I mean, as she's telling what she's seeing, like for me, I was just thinking the worst. Like first I thought it was, just the end of the world and just people killing each other.
They're crawling over the cars.
Guys, there might be someone here who hasn't watched it and maybe wants to see it for himself. So,
watch it, Drew.
I'm okay. Just saying, I just don't spoil so much of it.
To say it's awesome.
All right, good. Well, then I'm going to watch it.
Well, watch it and we'll discuss it next show,
Fine, I will. God, I'm going to take this from you. God. I'm sorry. But, yes.
We should wrap with these guys because we're like 15 minutes past the hour.
I know, but they have such good stories. I mean, they're leaving us chilled.
Set me up a beat, Tyler.
I was waiting for someone in this cadre to make the rap joke, and I did not expect it to be Tyler, but
I volunteer.
Thank you for just subverting my expectations.
You're welcome. Splash pages. Yeah. But no, thank you both for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And this has been great. And you're both, either one of you, or together again, who knows? You're welcome back anytime, please. Like, it was awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever new books drop, you should let us know because we'll be on that.
On that.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Totally loved having you, and I'm sure Carrie has another 2 hours worth of questions. So we'd love to have you back anytime. So speaking of that, we'll kick it over to Tyler first. Where do you like people reaching out to you or following you on the interwebs? And are you going to any conventions soon?
This Saturday, I'm going to be at Books with Pictures Con, which is a one-day show in Portland, Oregon. And then online, I'm mostly on Blue Sky and Instagram, and I just started a Kara account. And I'm nice. Mr. Tyler Crook on all of those.
Awesome. I'm interested to see where Kara goes.
But I do a YouTube live stream every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So if you just look for Tyler Crook on YouTube, you'll find me. And then sign up for my newsletter at mrcrook.com. I think that's everything.
Awesome. And we have a lot of your links in the show notes below as well.
Oh, nice.
And Cullen, what about you? I know you just went to a con and you have some coming up. And where do you like people interacting with you?
I think the easiest place to get through, I'm on all the social medias as Cullen Bunn. The easiest place to probably reach me is at cullenbunn.com, because I post my newsletter there, and you can subscribe to it from there, and you can reach all my other social media from there. But yeah, I do a weekly newsletter, mostly weekly, and where I talk about everything that's going on ad nauseum, maybe. And then I'm not doing a ton of conventions the rest of the year. In October, I have AuthorCon in St. Louis, which is a horror-focused convention I'm real excited about going to. But yeah, if you follow the newsletter, you'll get links to all of that. And then I have a Discord, I have a Patreon, so there's lots of places to find me and interact with me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I definitely, check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. We have a lot of links there. And I didn't mention before the show, but if you gentlemen don't mind, at the bottom, there's a leave studio button when you're ready to pop on out. And it'll prompt you to an uploads page. We record all the audio and video separately because we do post editing as well. So if you have any issues, we can send you a link afterwards as well.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
It's good seeing you, Cullen.
It's good seeing you too.
All right.
No, you first. No, you
first.
No, you first.
That was awesome.
That was great.
We did it again.
You know what?
That was fun.
I need to say this. I don't think Carrie squeed.
I think she did.
Oh no!
I think
that was no. The entire time was mental squeeing.
Yeah. I just want to say, Tyler mentioned he's on Kara, and if you haven't heard of it, that looks awesome.
That's the next Blue Sky.
Well, so I'm liking Blue Sky, but Kara is independent. It's not a big company making it. It's like it's an artist in their garage that did this. Not necessarily in their garage, but it's like all self-funded, and it's a community, artists for artists. So it's because Instagram is definitely really messing up a lot of artists' feeds and whatnot. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. It's over the past week, it's like grown to like 4 million users.
Wow, the future.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Be there.
Yeah.
You know what I love, Leo, is you didn't have to bring up Blue Sky. I know he brought it up. I was like, wow, Leo. Hey. So, all right. All banter aside, we are a little behind, so I think we might want to kind of zip through the news.
Yeah. Before we do, though, I just need to ask Drew, what do you think of confirmation of Lady Deadpool?
Huh?
Listen, I'm Leo. I don't care what they keep adding. I'm already in. I'm in. I don't care. Like I'm already my butt is already in the theater ready to go. So they just keep giving me more reasons to sit down, lay back, don't fall asleep, because you know that the theaters are extremely well dim lit and air conditioned this summer. I'm just going to be like, Nirvana, just just ready to go. It's going to be very good. I'm very excited, right?
Yeah, and Jar Jar, they don't say who it is. It just shows it from the waist down. It is definitely a feminine Deadpool. So the question is it?
How do you know we didn't? How do you know he didn't just dress up very sexy, like very
it could be.
ladylike?
You know what? You know what? Wouldn't put it past Wade. He has done some crazier things in the past.
I say, well, so the theories are it's either that. His wife Blake Lively or Taylor Swift.
Thank you, Hero Made Podcast.
That is true. We did lose comic historian recently, and I know a few people who were big fans of his YouTube channel, and he was young. He was in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a tough year. You know, I feel like this year it's just random out of nowheres. Like you're just like, bam, like, God damn, you know, what a sad loss. But he was, I have to admit, I've never really watched a lot of his stuff, but thank you, 40. From what he had a huge following, and he really put a lot of effort into his work. And I'm always going to admire somebody who really gave it their all, you know?
Especially doing stuff like this. This is like labor of love kind of stuff.
Yeah. But he was loved, and he will be missed and remembered. And that is itself its own reward.
Yeah. Yeah. I've watched his stuff. He definitely did some really good content there, and it's Jar Jar. I mean, we know, this is a labor of love, like you said. It's but we all love comics. It's just sharing the love there. But that's I know the families. Everybody's being respectful of the family. They're just mentioning it's an accident, so it's definitely a shame.
Indeed.
Yeah. Before we get to news, also wanted to mention one of our buddies, Tim Jones, is going to be at Rhode Island Anime Con this weekend. So,
sour grapes.
So if you're going to head on over there, definitely check out Tim. I think he has a new book out, right?
The last one he put out was I have it. I don't know if it's the same one he's pushing, unless he.
No, I
don't think he's pushing a new one.
Sour
doggone miserable.
Sounds familiar. Yes.
So what's the tagline? So what's the tagline of his adventure this upcoming weekend? Sour grapes goes kawaii.
Kawaii.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, listen. If anybody is adaptable, it's Tim Jones. He'll still have some really dope drawings, a lot of good stuff. And so
his commissions are affordable.
They're very affordable. He's on my list, Jar.
Could you imagine Aesop drawn anime style?
I wonder if he could draw Jar Jar Binks, that style, Hanna-Barbera style.
I mean, Misa always could ask,
Yuza too.
Yeah, indeed. So I will also say, oh God.
Yeah, that's the one.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, boys and girls, let's, we all got to support children. True story.
Yes.
Yep.
Support recognize and respect, sir. We all got support. So I think we should just kind of, pun intended, dive into the news. It's not a lot, so it won't take us too long. But
Variant watch.
Yeah, I know, Drew. I mean, you keep on forgetting about.
How could I forget when it has such nice graphics?
It's like a punch in the face, just bam.
Bam. All right, Jar, take it away, buddy.
All right, we starting with Miss Aurora. We are okay. Fantastic. Yep. I had it right. The Cohen era of the X-Men will come to an end with Uncanny, or has come to an end with Uncanny X-Men number 700. Following this is in the From the Ashes era, Storm will assume her role as Earth's mightiest mutant. Starting in August, Storm will join the Avengers. Then in October, she will embark on a solo adventure in a new ongoing Storm series written by Murwa Aodell and illustrated by Lucas Wernick. Today, you can preview the 3 variant covers for the first issue. Ta-da! One of the covers created by Wernick displays Storm's new costume, while another by Ji-Hyun Lee offers a stunning pinup, also available as a Virgin variant cover. Additionally, Storm number 1 will feature a dazzling gold foil variant cover by Jerome Opeña.
Nice.
Similar to other major Marvel launches. This series heralds an exciting new chapter for the iconic X-Man, showcasing her Omega-level mutant abilities as a key protector of Earth. Her decisions will have global repercussions, drawing the notice and respect of cosmic forces, as well as challenging supervillains like Doctor Doom.
Nice.
But she looks fantastic.
Oh my God. And these covers are fantastic. I mean, and you have Lucas's great work. Ji-Hyun Lee his work is also fantastic. And then Jerome Opeña's stuff is just stellar. So I can't say which one is my favorite because they all look fantastic.
Mm.
I don't know about you.
I just wanted to mention, we do make fun of, there being too many variants. It's why we're doing Variant Watch. But we got a stark reminder that if you have a favorite, make sure you grab it as soon as you can, because that Thor from Blood Hunt, I think I mentioned in the chat, is already going up for like over $200.
Right, you never know.
Trying to get it in my comic group recently. I was just like, the FOMO is real.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it'll stay at that price.
Tomorrow. At this rate. So
there's always a ceiling on these new variants. So
we'll see.
They hit them.
All right. So
next up.
Yep. What's with the Stormbreakers this time?
Hey, with Deadpool and Wolverine expected to be the summer's blockbuster hit, Marvel Comics is quickly capitalizing on the duo's popularity by featuring them on a series of exciting new Stormbreaker Initiative covers. Stormbreaker Initiative, launched in 2020, showcases 8 specially selected artists from around the globe who will lead Marvel's artistic projects for the upcoming year. The 2024 includes, or 2024 hasn't been announced yet, but 2023 includes Chris Allen, Jan Basilidua, Elena Casagrande, Martin Coccola, Nick Klein, Federico Vicenti, C.F. Villa, and Lucas Wernick again. Among the new covers, highlights include Lucas Wernick's variant for Deadpool and Wolverine World War III, which humorously depicts Wade Wilson snapping a selfie with a sleeping Logan, and Nick Klein's cover for Era of Apocalypse number 3, which shows Wolverine in a thrilling, unexpected skydive. Do we have that?
Yeah, so I'll go through them really quick since you
can't see. I didn't have the artists of all of these.
Yeah, so this is Jan Bazaldua.
Oh, that's Bazaldua.
Yeah, it's Bazaldua.
This is
you had it up at the top. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Martin Cocco.
Is that done by you, Carrie?
No, that's how they do them. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is the Nick Klein. That's the Logan falling out with the faulty parachute bag. That's Federico Vicenti. So that's the yep.
And
this one I liked.
Yeah, this one I was like, okay, that's clever.
Something about the art I liked on that one a lot.
That's Elena Casagrande. And then that's Chris Allen. Yep. Like I said, Stormbreaker covers, I mean, they're just so common, especially because this is what's the former Young Guns program used to be, and that gave us a lot of great Marvel talents that are kind of legends now. Like, for instance, Lionel Yu, I believe, was part of the Young Gun program. Same thing with Steve McNiven. So, you know, this is kind of a rite of passage for a lot of upcoming Marvel artists. It's just, there's so many. And I just feel sometimes that certain themes go over better than others. You know?
Yeah. I'm sure, Leo, after I've been doing them lately, but you were doing them all before this. It does just get kind of, you look at Stormbreakers and you just go, okay, copy, paste, move, do this again. But it's like, how many of them am I going to see this time?
Yeah. And I mean, if you think that's bad, I've and Jar Jar, thanks for helping me. Your audio is awesome. But
I was worried I didn't do that. I wasn't putting on too much of a voice, so I was just like, I hope this is okay.
Yeah, no, it's great. We'll just need to, I'm thinking maybe we'll have to do multiple parts, but we can talk about it afterwards. But so what I'm talking about is a short that we're doing with the new issues coming out. And I didn't even send Jar Jar to variants because there was like so many this week. Just absolutely bonkers. So
yeah.
Getting them in under a minute. Can't do that.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Not when
not without like giving me a seizure.
All right. So, all right. Leo, you know what time it is.
So what's
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains fly under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
God, if this is a coma, someone pull the plug. All right. So, on the news.
Hey.
So, there are a few stories. I'll do my best to get through them detailed wise, but also cover all the bases. So, as we know, the latest Star Wars series, The Acolyte, is out. And one of the newest characters that we saw, Acolyte Wookiee Jedi Kelnaka, is getting his own Marvel Comics story. So we already see him on Acolyte, portrayed by the person who took over Chewbacca from the late great Peter Mayhew, Junis Suotamo. After the show finishes its first season, Marvel will reveal this, which is Star Wars Acolyte Kelnaka issue 1, which comes out September 4th. It's a one-shot written by Cavan Scott with art by Marika Cresta that's going to bridge the gap between the High Republic novels and comics to the Acolyte itself. So think of it kind of like drawing a line from the Acolyte back to the High Republic era. So, you know, and its fun fact is that Kelnaka actually breaks a rule that George Lucas had stated way back in the day was about Jedis, that he, for some reason, had a thing where whatever's fine except no Jedis or no Wookiee Jedis, which I find was interesting because I was like, wow, out of all. So in the series, we're going to learn about his design, the meaning of his tattoos, his struggle. We'll see the struggle of a Padawan and a master, and then Light and Life. So this is going to come with two covers. No, one variant, one cover, two variants. So the first one we saw was by Phil Noto, who, as we see, he's kind of the go-to for this kind of stuff. The second cover has that Force Awakens kind of feel to it. It's by Bjorn Berens. And the third cover, which is, I believe, a black and white, is by Takashi Okazaki. So this is September 4th. Personally speaking, I love the Takashi cover. I think that looks awesome. And yeah, just more Star Wars. And I don't know about y'all, but I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of a little burned out.
Did you watch Acolyte? I know we started talking about it early in the beginning.
No, Leo, I'm so behind on so many things at this point. I think I just kind of accept my ignorance as an invitation to be surprised by what Star Wars could bring.
Well, it's
how does one see a Wookiee's tattoos?
That's a great question.
I don't know, man. Just, you know what, Carrie? I'm just going off my notes, okay? Is that Cthulhu is the great? Yes. And yes. And every Christmas,
I'm like, he's got a man bun.
Hey. We don't know his life.
I'm not insulting any Wookiees, you know. There's a pretty cool covers, and I'm happy, but like I'm just like, I have this. Can you imagine living with your whole body covered with that much hair? Like, the shampoo bill must be outrageous.
You would know, Henry.
They always have them hanging out on like desert planets too, right? Like,
yeah, I'm just gonna sweat and get dirt on me.
No.
So,
no, I know they come from a planet where their planet Kashyyyk, yes. But I'm talking about like Solo is hanging out with Chewie down on God damn it, the name of the
Tatooine.
place.
Mos Eisley.
Tatooine.
My internet's going all wanky.
Oh, yeah, Tatooine, right?
We're good. No,
Tatooine, yes.
Yeah, but well, they're not always hanging out there, but that's where Han was captured, and Chewie went there to save him. Well, but also,
before Return of the Jedi, they were there too.
Oh yeah, they were hanging out. Yeah, at Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
And also that they met when Han was captured. Also,
is it? I thought it's Han.
Han.
Yeah. Yeah.
Han.
All right.
It's said both ways in the series.
Listen, faster and more intense. Okay.
It's an accent.
Thank you. All right. So continuing our coverage from last week, where it was revealed that the Long Halloween story, which was the collaboration between Jeff Loeb and the late great Tim Sale, will be concluding with its final chapter in Batman: The Last Halloween. So while it's going to take a little while for us to see issue 1, DC keeps releasing several stunning covers from the late Tim Sale and others that are going to be featured through the series. These that we're seeing here were released during a panel recently in Fan Expo Dallas. So what we're looking at here are Tim's covers for issues 2 through 6. And they also released the variant covers for issue 2 through 4. So those, the variants being by artist Cliff Chiang, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Enrico Marini. So the main covers are, I mean, God, they're just stunning. So if we can, Leo, we could go back just for a bit. Thank you. So we see Batman Center Stage, issues 2 and 3. Following that, you're going to see Robin sharing the spotlight with Batman in issue 4. The Joker is there for issue 5. So that's it. And then for issue 6, you have Two-Face with the half black and white, half red, which is just stunning. So, and again, notice the colors. So that right there, continuing what we saw last week with the mugshot theme. So you have, that's Robin for issue 4. That's by Cliff Chiang. Issue 5 is by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is just terrifyingly fantastic. And issue 6 is Mr. Freeze by Enrico Marini. Needless to say, this is going to be awesome. As a big fan of The Long Halloween being one of my top 5 favorite Batman stories of all time, also where Dark Victory is a little bit of a soft spot, I'm so pumped. It's nice to see Jeff Loeb back in comics after spending quite a bit of time on Marvel TV. Yeah, I'm really pumped by this, but I'm also a little hesitant because, as me and Carrie would know, not everything Jeff Loeb ever did was stellar. Or not stellar, well received. Let's go with that. So, but his Batman stuff, man, I'm excited. So, yep.
So, Long Halloween, they did a one shot last year, right? Was it last year?
I think it was last year or the year before.
It was last year because, Leo, remember we read that, and then we also watched the movie and we did a little comparison.
Yeah.
And I admit I was not the biggest fan of that adaptation, being such a purist of the movie. And I thought the comic was okay, but I didn't like how it kind of hold the veil back on some of the mystery of the Long Halloween. But again, I didn't really complain too much because, again, at that time, we were still having more Tim Sale artwork, which, as you remember, was always fantastic. So, yeah.
Nice. Just real quick, I'm shocked we missed this in our news at some point in the recent future or recent past, future past.
Recent history.
Gotham by Gaslight is continuing this week.
Yeah, but we brought it up when they announced Elseworlds. Yeah, the Kryptonian age. Yeah, they're introducing Kryptonite. Yeah, it's Andy Diggle is doing it's a 12-issue series continuing Gotham by Gaslight storyline. Yeah, and we're going to see Superman. Well, Kryptonians in that respect, and I believe we already saw some preview pages recently that were released, which shows the Gotham by Gaslight Catwoman, which should be pretty cool.
Yeah, first issue drops today. It'll be interesting to see.
Indeed. I will also be looking forward to giving that review. So, continuing milestones, as we saw that Wolverine will be experiencing one, it appears that another milestone will be coming up with one of Marvel's weirder, more popular characters, Deathlock. Celebrating his 50th anniversary, we'll have a giant size one-shot written by Christopher Priest and New York Times bestselling author Justina Ireland. Now, most people know who Christopher Priest is. If you've ever read Black Panther, his work is considered some of the most iconic. And of course, his other work that he did in Marvel and DC is also fantastic. But Justina Ireland is also no stranger to this, as she recently wrote the Blood Hunt special, Star Wars Staros. So she's definitely rising in the ranks. The art team for this is no less Dave Eaglesham, Matthew Wade, Luke Ross, all great artists. And we're going to see covers by the great Ken Lashley, Nick Bradshaw, and a variant by Frank Miller. And also one by Deathlock's co-creator, Dennis Cohen. So now some of you might, who the heck is this guy? So appearing in Astonishing Tales 25, Deathlock the Demolisher was originally Colonel Luther Manning, who is a soldier fatally injured, revived as a cyborg in a post-apocalyptic future, where he fought corrupt corporate and military regimes running America before he was then sent back to the present Marvel universe. So there have been a few Deathlocks since Manning. Each one are basically the same thing. Cyborg soldier trying to maintain his humanity. And he is also, like Wolverine, a much darker character than they originally published. This book, really known for blending sci-fi, horror, war, examining ethical and philosophical questions. It's definitely one of the more unexpectedly popular Marvel titles. So, hey, you know, seeing where they go from is going to be pretty interesting, especially since, if I'm correct, Justina Ireland is also a U.S. Army veteran. So you have that unique perspective adding on to what should be already Christopher Priest's pretty strong script. So this arrives in comic shops September 18th, Deathlock 50th Anniversary Special Issue 1. So
50 years. Holy crap.
I know, Leo.
Wow.
Indeed. So I was like, okay. And the last story, which is pretty interesting in general. So as we know, Frank Miller is the recipient of a documentary talking about his career, his life, how he almost died, or something like that. In Frank Miller, American Genius. So essentially they revealed more about his latest Sin City related project, which is going to be a prequel discussing the origins of Basin City, aka Sin City, in the Old West. So this, which we saw news of back in 2022, titled Sin City Blood and Dust. So basically, as Miller put it, it's a Western, it's the beginnings of the city, that originally he was planning on doing a World War II era Sin City that was going to be called the Home Front, which he said could still happen. So he just kind of thought like Dodge City, saloons, prostitutes, people riding through town. And he started tinkering with that. And he ends up drawing essentially what you see there, which was his originally first character, Marv, who, as we know in this movie, played by the great Mickey Rourke. But essentially Marv with a mohawk and paint all over his face. So it finds out. So essentially that kind of furthered Miller's interest in the story. So we're going to see that Marv is not only a brawler no matter where in his timeline, but he's also a descendant of the indigenous people who used to live in the area where Basin City was colonized. So which is pretty cool if you think about it, adding more depth to an already fairly complex and yet simple character. Miller said he doesn't have a release date as of yet, but he's planned out a bunch of pages. He's done some drawings. He's kind of fussing. It's its pet project. So unfortunately, everybody, while this stuff does look cool, we have no answer on when we're going to expect this. So trust me, when you know, it is because we knew somewhat before you did, maybe. Yeah. News.
I'll go with that.
I'm excited, but at the same time, you know, because again, Sin City is one of my special favorites from Frank Miller. I own all of it, and I've read all of it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not everything is amazing, but it's still one of Miller's solid works. Yet, like I said, a lot can go wrong with a prequel, you know? So I'm a little trepidatious, but still excited. So,
word of the day.
We'll see. But I believe that's all the news we have today. So,
yeah.
So, yep. So I don't know. Mr. Pond, do you want to sign us off?
Yeah, we'll wrap things up, and I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. And as you can see, I'm starting to fill up back there, a little bit at a time.
Still see a lot of boxes, so.
There's still a lot of boxes. Yeah,
a lot of boxes.
I got so much shit. It's crazy. Well, anyway, you know how to find me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people and head on over to our YouTube page. You know, I've had some family issues going on recently, so I haven't had a chance to upload as much as I want to. But we have a ton of content waiting to go up there. So head on over to our Splash Pages YouTube page. Follow us on Facebook as well. Join the club. And without further ado, we'll kick it over to Jar Jar.
Oh, wow. Hey, everything Leo said, double it. I like it. Also, the join the club little line that was really nice. Come hang out with me on Facebook and check out Comic Book Lovers Buy Sell Trade and Auction House, where you can buy, sell, and trade all your comics and wonderful geek stuff. And check out Still Token tomorrow night, and we will have somebody great on. My notes are all over the place.
That's okay. That's okay. Carrie.
Hey, everybody. If you want to find me after I calm down from tonight, maybe in the next month or so, you can go to Carrie Sanders on Facebook. If you see a crow as an avatar, that is me. All of my links go out from there. I get to spend every Tuesday with these wonderful gents here on Splash Pages, and I am also on the Owlite Network, which is under the umbrella of the Dorking Network now. We have like 14 shows going on there right now. I am in some of them. So if you'd like to keep an eye on us there, like this upcoming Sunday, we're going to have an interview with an author, Blaine Daigle. And on Monday, we'll be doing a Tomb of the Terrible, Dracula 3000. But we also just released a book called The Owlite Menagerie. It has a bunch of authors from our network, as well as authors that we have worked with. And all of the proceeds for it, everything, production costs, is all going to a charity. It's called Pro Literacy, and it is to help support adult literacy programs. So we'll be doing some more stuff with them further down the line. But if you can find us on Owlite, you can get that on Kindle, and it'll be out in hard form soon. But helping us help support literacy is what the Owlite Network is all about. We're all about storytelling. So go to my site or go to my page, hit all my links, follow the things, learn about the book, get the book, read. We love you.
Oh.
There.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Don't nursery rhyme me. You're so creepy when you do that. All right. All right, now I'm up. All right, listen, everybody. We're really glad you came here. We really hope you had a good time. Thank you for everybody who commented. You're all great. If you need me specifically for some reason, you need to chat with me. I'm on Facebook, Ghostbusterman 1984. My Instagram is up and running again, and I'm posting regularly there, so I might see your message. I'm approachable, but choose wisely. That's the best way I could put it. Hello there. But yes, we had a great show tonight. We have so much more planned for y'all coming up. So really do yourself a favor. Just say you're busy on Tuesday night going forward. We appreciate you. You have a good rest of the night.
We'll catch you later. Bye.
Join the club.
Hey, and
stealing Leo's line.
There we go. Join the club.